Hi everybody, it's Sabrina. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. Today I plan on talking about my least favorite books of 2024. I have 4 that I decided to pick out for this video. Normally I like to be more positive. I also made a video about my top 5 favorite books of this year, but I decided it'd be interesting just to kind of see out of the books I read this year, maybe some that, kind of maybe might not be worth your time. I'll kind of let you guys decide that, if you want to read these books for yourself or not. But these were 4 books that I personally, didn't really enjoy all that much, and just wanted to give my thoughts on that today. So I will start with saying I have one that's kind of an honorable mention. It's not that I wouldn't necessarily recommend not to read it, but it wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be, and it is part of a series. And the first book in the series I really enjoyed. I thought it was interesting, and so I was kind of let down by the second novel in the series. That book was Iron Flame. So, overall, I think that the series is good. I think the series is interesting. I really did. It wasn't one of my favorite books of the year, but I did enjoy Fourth Wing. I thought it was interesting and a fun read. But Iron Flame for me was just too long. It felt too drawn out. It felt like there was a whole lot of nothing happening for most of the book until the very end. There was some plot twist at the ending. It did get a little bit more interesting in the end. So this one, I'm saying it's an honorable mention because I do plan on continuing with the series. I think that when Onyx Storm comes out, I did pre-order it. I do want to read it. I do want to continue with the series because this did leave off on a cliffhanger, and I'm hoping that Onyx Storm will be a little bit more enjoyable of a read. But for such a hyped up series, and for such a series that had such a good start, this book was kind of a letdown, and so that's kind of why this book is on this list. I would say I gave this book, I think, around a 3 stars. So it wasn't terrible, but it was just too long, too drawn out, and wasn't what I was hoping from a popular good fantasy series like this. So now we'll get into my actual, top 3 books that I just really did not like for the year, that I just didn't enjoy. So the first book on that list is Bride by Ali Hazelwood, which I thought was interesting because I read Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood before I read this novel by her, and I really loved Love Theoretically. It was actually in my top 5 favorite reads of 2024. And so I picked up Bride after reading Love Theoretically because I thought it was going to be, her same kind of style and that same kind of feel with the romance, except I thought it was going to be like a fantasy form, And it was, but this book was too cringy. I had a hard time following, reading the spice scenes. It was just too awkward, and I will say, I don't know if you guys know what a knot is. It's part of a dog's or a wolf's anatomy. It's mentioned many times in this book, and I did not need to know what that was. So yeah, to say, I really I didn't like this book. I didn't find it enjoyable. There was a mystery that was unfolding as alongside of the romance. So I think the general plot of this story was good. I thought that the plot was interesting, but I just didn't think the execution was there. I don't like how it was written. I don't like how the romance was written. I didn't like the spice scenes. I think there could have been potential with the story and the plot, but I think it fell short. So I don't know if just fantasy romance isn't Ali Hazelwood's thing. She has written other STEM romances. I might give those a try. But if a sequel were to come out for this book, or if she were to write another fantasy type novel in the future, I can't say if I don't know if I'd really read it based on this book. So I gave this book 2.75 stars. So yeah, that's what I thought of this one. Okay, so the next book on my list is another book in a series, kind of like Iron Flame, where I really enjoy the series as a whole, but this book in the series just did not do it for me, and that was A Court of Frost and Starlight. So I really enjoyed the ACOTAR series. A Court of Mist and Fury is also on my top 5 reads of 2024. So I really enjoyed A Court of Mist and Fury. I really enjoyed the ACOTAR series in general. But this book was really boring. It's more of a novella. You guys can see it's really short. It's not very long. It's only 200 something pages. It's less than 300 pages. 233 pages. So that was its saving grace, in my opinion, was that it wasn't long. It wasn't a long read. It was kind of quick to get through in the sense it wasn't a lot of pages, but it was miserable to get through, I thought. It was just terribly boring. There was no plot. It kind of is just talking about the characters in the series and them celebrating Christmas. A lot of people were comparing this to like a Christmas special of a TV show, and I think that's a perfect explanation of this book. That's pretty much all that this was, and I didn't like it. So 2 stars for this one. Maybe 2.5 if I'm being generous. Let's say 2.5. 2.5 stars. All right, and then that leads me to my least favorite book, my absolute least favorite book of 2024. And I have made a video about this book, so you guys may already know if you watch my channel what book this might be. It's very hyped up on BookTube. I've seen so many booktubers that I watch, like so many of them gave this book 5 stars. They really enjoyed it. They really had raving reviews about how great it was. And I just did not like it, like at all. That book was Happy Place by Emily Henry. So, like I said, I did make a whole video about it if you guys want to see my more in-depth thoughts about this book. But to me, it was extremely boring. It felt like it took a while for anything to happen. And even then, like, really nothing much happened. The characters, very annoying, felt very immature. The characters are 20 to 30-year-olds, like a group of friends, and it kind of talks about them kind of drifting and growing apart as they grow older and things like that. But the way the characters act in this book, they are very immature, and it almost reminds me more of a group of teenagers rather than people in their, 20s or 30s. So I didn't like that. I heard people saying it got better at the end. I got to the ending and I absolutely hated the ending. I do not think the character made a wise choice as far as, her career path, which is something she kind of struggled with throughout the book. I did not like the romance. I was not rooting for the characters to get together necessarily, which was the whole point of this book. In my opinion, I did not think that this was a good read. I did not enjoy it. I did not think it was the hype that it did not live up to the hype. I was very disappointed. So those were some of the books that I read in 2024 that, didn't really do it for me, or that I just had a hard time getting through and, really didn't find as enjoyable, or didn't necessarily live up to the hype that, I thought they would based on kind of what other people were saying. So you guys can make a decision on your own about whether or not, these would still be books that you'd be interested in reading. Some of them are part of a series, so you may want to read it if you're going to continue with the series. But then, like I said, that's what I'm doing with Iron Flame. I am still going to read Onyx Storm. But yeah, just my thoughts. You guys can let me know down below in the comments what you think about any of these books, or maybe what your least favorite books of 2024 would be. I'd be very curious to see, hopefully prevent me from reading. You're always going to have books that maybe you don't like as much, but obviously you want to pick the books that you think you're going to enjoy the most going forward. So yeah, you guys can let me know your thoughts and opinions down below in the comments. And Happy New Year, everybody. I'm recording this video. It is January 1st, 2025, so I thought it'd be a perfect time to kind of review how my 2024 reading went before we kind of get started into the new year. So Happy New Year, everybody. Thank you for watching this video, and we will see you again in another one. Bye.